What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a whole different style of video, and I mentioned in my previous YouTube video that I want to come back to YouTube, do a video at least one time a week, and focus more on lifestyle content. And this week is a story that I haven't told you guys, and I don't think I've told social media really at all, and that is my crazy ex-roommate story. So for this specific video, I am going to change the names of people to keep it, keep this person's identity hidden. And this was from a move that I did after college. So after college, I decided to move away from my hometown. This was the first time I ever moved out of my parents' house. I have lived in like student housing before and student apartments, but it's not really the same thing. So I decided to, after college, to move to a bigger city in hopes to get a job that would be higher paying. So I was kind of winging it. I knew I needed a roommate and that I couldn't financially be able to support myself if I were to find like a one-bedroom apartment, because I know where I lived at the time, $900 a month just in rent was a lot of money for me. And someone just out of college, I was having a hard time finding a job, and I was still working on building up my online coaching business. So I decided that I wanted to move, but I needed to find a roommate. And that was actually surprisingly really easy for me. And I'm going to kind of like have red flags that I didn't recognize when I was getting involved in this relationship with this person, because this person was a very toxic person, and they honestly scare me from like a mental aspect. So this person I did a bikini competition with, and she was super nice to me at first. I remember like kind of hanging out with her, like talking a lot backstage, and I was telling her that I was wanting to move to this city, and she was like, hey, like I was just going to move into my apartment down there, and it was like my dream apartment, and it was by some friends at the time. And then she said, well, the girl that I was going to room with has just canceled. She's not following through with the lease, and it was 1 month out from the lease closing. So I was like, whoa, like this is weird, like what a godsend. Like she is wanting to have me room with her, and this girl, like so stupid, like she said no, and this is like the best apartment ever. So I was like, you know what, like let's do it, let's be roommates. And all I did, like that same day like she called me, I was so eager to move, like I just went down to Columbus, which yeah, I just exposed the city, but I went down to Columbus, and I went to the leasing office, toward the apartments with my mom, and signed my side of the contract. So I was really excited, and when I first moved in with her, everything was fine. Let's call her Jenny. So like Jenny was super cool. She was really nice to me at first, really accommodating. She got the bigger room, like the master, because there's a 2-bedroom. So she got the master and I got the other bedroom, but we both had our own bathroom. It was like a townhome style place. So she was really nice at first, but then I started to notice like some really weird red flags. So the first red flag is, why did this previous girl cancel her lease, you know, last minute? The next red flag was that Taylor had attachment issues to men, which is fine. You know, if you want to sleep around, that's completely fine. But it got to a point where she was bringing home different guys multiple times during the week, and it was a little bit stressful for me because I worked a lot and I wasn't home a lot, and I didn't necessarily trust these people, and she would just have them sleep over all the time, which I get it, we're both adults, like live your life, but also like you should be asking your roommate if it's okay to have a guy sleep over. So she would just like have guys over all the time. That was like a first red flag. And then she kept like getting a little bit controlling of me. She's like, you know what, I don't want you competing in this bikini competition because we're the same height class, and you know, you just shouldn't compete with me, because she was a little bit jealous. That's honestly where control comes from. And then she would also just make weird comments too on like my Instagram stuff, where she's just like, would like dog herself, or I don't know. She's really nasty to a lot of people on like social media too. Like she would backtalk a lot of people and then just be really fake and nice to their face. So I don't know, things were just a little bit rocky, and then they were starting to get progressively worse. So she had a bikini competition and I didn't attend it because she only prepped for like 4 weeks. And if you guys know me in competing, you should be prepping at least like 3 months, upwards of even like 4 or 5 months. And her show was really far out of the way and I had to work that day. So I had to work a full day. I had to work, I think it was like 11 to, no, it was a Sunday, so I worked earlier. It was 12 to 6, something like that, 12 to 7. And her show, I didn't go to it because it was 2 hours away. And she, like, something happened where she just flipped a switch and she was like, I can't believe you weren't there to support me. It really hurts my feelings. And I apologized, but I tried to explain to her, like, look, like, I was working that day. Like, I'm sorry that I couldn't be there for you. And she's just like, you just don't even care about me. And then she started to be really like lazy around the apartment. So she was really messy, would leave dishes in the sink for days on end, would leave laundry in the laundry machine for like a whole week, which is rude when you have a roommate. She would like let her animals into my room, like her dog, like even went to the bathroom on one of my white rugs, which was really frustrating. And then she was like kind of talking nasty behind my back. So I could hear her talking to like guys that she was bringing home with to sleep with. And I could hear her gossiping really nasty about me. And you know, I didn't say anything back because I was so focused on just making money and building my business that like it really wasn't worth my time. And we would just be by each other and not talk because I felt like I couldn't say anything right in front of her. And at the time I was also in a long distance relationship. So even on the weekends, like I wasn't there because I was with my boyfriend at the time, or he would come down and visit me. And even when he was visiting me, he's like, she's kind of rude. Like she's kind of like being really messy. And I would like run into random people too in like the gym fitness community. And they'd be like, well, who's your roommate? And I would tell them. And they would like gasp. They were like, how do you live with her? Like, how do you stand her? And I was just like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's getting a little bit weird. And then it started to get worse, progressively worse, like I said. And this was happening around November, December time. So gossiping behind my back, just being really messy, which is like kind of normal roommate behavior. But then she started would angrily text me. She would like have parties on the weekend when I wasn't there. But then she had, wait, let me reverse before I forget this story. Her cat she had 2 pets. She had a dog and a cat. I had none. Her cat got like a little bit, her cat like had anxiety and its anxiety was acting up. And I remember one day coming home from work and she's just sitting on her couch and I would like console her a lot, but she's just crying and she's just like, my cat's annoying me so much, I'm just going to euthanize it. And I'm like, what? And she worked at a vet clinic and she told me that she brought home euthanizing drugs for her cat and was going to kill her cat. And then she locked her cat in a cage and told me that I wasn't allowed to take it out. And it was hard for me because I would walk by this cat in the living room and it would just be crying and neglected. And she was just like, you can't take her out because it's my cat. But I remember my boyfriend coming down there the weekend and he would just be like, I'm taking the cat out. Like, this is not right. This is abusive. So we would take it out if she was gone and then put it back in the cage. So sorry, Jenny. But then Jenny had a party when I was gone and she didn't tell me. And so I remember coming home one weekend, and this was like January. I came home one weekend after visiting my boyfriend and I went into my bedroom and something fell off. And you just know when it's your own living space. And I was like, okay, my bed's made a little bit differently. My pillows are arranged a little bit differently. And I was confused. I was like, why does everything smell so clean too? Well, I looked at the side of the wall where my bed and the wall was, and there was throw up marks. Like not like thick puke, but like dried up splatters, and I know what puke looks like. And I was looking at that and it was like purpley, and I was like, that's weird. But then I went into my bathroom and I decided to look in the trash can, and there was like purple in the trash can, like toilet paper with purple. And then there was, when I lifted the seat, there was purple all over the seat. And I looked at the side of my bathroom shower, and there was like throw up splatters on the shower, and I was like, someone slept in my bed. But not that just someone slept in my bed. Someone slept in my bed without my permission, without me knowing, and threw up in it and tried to cover it up. And I texted her and I was like, did someone sleep in my bed? And she's just like, no one slept in your bed. And then she's just like, I sent her a picture of like the puke, and I was like, someone slept in my bed and puked in both of these places. And she was like, oh my gosh, like this one girl must have slept in your bed, and that she must have left at like 4 a.m. and like tried to like clean the sheets and cover it up. And I'm thinking, this story doesn't even make sense, because if you're going to clean thick comforter sheets, you're going to have to clean them and dry them. So even if this girl woke up at 4 a.m., that whole process of waiting around for laundry to be done is going to take at least 3 hours for something that thick. So I'm like, the story just does not add up. And the fact that you're playing dumb isn't very, reassuring. And she was, being really nice to me, like, but she wouldn't admit to what really happened. And that's what really bothered me, was I felt like I couldn't trust my roommate at all. And there was one day when I went home from work, and this is when I just decided I needed to leave, and she was screaming at me. She's just like, you're in such a effing bad mood, like I effing can't understand you, F you, F this, and like ran away from me. I was like, Taylor, I almost said her name, Jenny. Jenny, I was just like, what's wrong? And she's just like not wanting to talk to me. She's very passive aggressive. So I couldn't communicate with her. Like I couldn't have conversations with her, and I would try to, and she would just blow up, and she was very hard to talk to. And at this time, like I just wanted to get out, because I had so much anxiety when I was there. Like I felt like I need to lock my bedroom door because I didn't trust her. She told me one time that she used to threaten her roommates to like beat them up, and I just decided I needed to move out. So when I moved out, my parents came down to the city to help me move out, and when they were moving all my things, they ran into my roommate, and she was like, I'm not surprised she's moving out. All of my roommates move out on me. So you guys might think that the story might end here. I move out, it's done. Well, the issue with moving out is, you guys are probably also wondering how I broke my lease. She didn't want me to live with her anyway, so I just said like, hey, I'm going to move out and I just want to leave. So I decided to try to get her to sign, it's called a roommate release, which basically releases you of the contract, but she wouldn't sign it, because if she signed it, technically my name's off the lease. But I agreed to pay some of the rent until she could find a roommate. So I was paying my half of rent for 3 months, which was like $650, which was a lot. Six something, which is a lot, especially when I was like post-grad. And again, still, I was working a full-time job, like doing my online coaching business. I was just working all the time, like I had no life. And one day I just was like frustrated, because I'm like, I could use all this money and invest it in other areas of my life and take care of other bills, even take care of my student loans. And I decided that I was just going to stop paying my half of rent, because she refused to sign the roommate release despite me not living there for 3 months. And it was so annoying too, because she blasted me on social media. Jenny would post like screenshots of her text messages saying that I was such a bitch, or she would screenshot private conversations and just post it on social media. And she had all of my supposed friends in the area who also attacked me on social media and would try to tag me, so I had to block all of them. And then she got really mad when she found out that I wasn't going to pay for my half of rent, and threatened to call the police on me, which you'll find out soon. I was working at a retail store, and all these retail stores were getting the same call from a woman named Jenny asking for a girl named Nicole. So Jenny had called 5 stores. It's like not a franchise, but a well-known retail store. But Jenny had called 5 stores to find the one that I work at to talk to me, because I had blocked her on my phone, I blocked her on Instagram. My boyfriend had blocked her. Like, I think she messaged my mom, but she's basically calling for her half of rent. And then she was trying to call on other people's phones too to reach me. And my manager at the time was like, this is harassment, like she's calling you at work. I'm nervous for your safety. I'm nervous that she's going to be in like the parking lot waiting for you. And honestly, I was kind of scared too. And Jenny had shown signs of aggression with males. She would like take vases of flowers and smash it in front of their doorway. She would scream at them. She was very aggressive, and I was nervous to say the least. So we called the cops, and I got what's called a digital block on her. I could not get a restraining order, but I could get what's called a digital block, which basically means that she is not legally allowed to contact me through any sort of social media, my phone, text, anything. She's not allowed to contact me. And that made me feel a lot less stressed until I did run into her later that same year, and she was at a competition that I competed in, and she followed me into the same bathroom just to wait for me to exit the bathroom. And this was like after post-show. We went to dinner. My boyfriend and I went to dinner. She went to dinner with all of her teammates, and she followed me into the bathroom just to harass me. And I thought that she was literally going to kick my ass in the bathroom. But she basically just like got up in my face and threatened me. And I didn't do anything. I never did anything. I would just stand there and just be like, you need to calm down. Like, you need to relax. And I think she got really frustrated that I wouldn't respond, because I was very mellow. I'm pretty a mellow person in general, but she threatened me at the time, ran up to that whole like team and like yelled at them, saying like, do you really think it's appropriate to let her go in and harass my girlfriend? Like, we're trying to enjoy our time. And you know, I was just really uncomfortable and really upset, and that was honestly like the last time she ever talked to me, because that was really the last time I saw her. And it's crazy because like, I know that recently, even after I moved out, another girl moved in to finish the lease off, and then that girl had problems with her. Like, literally every person that she lived with had problems with her, and it wasn't the other person. Like, here's the thing, if you have a problem with one person, that's fine, but if you're repetitively having problems with your roommates, it's not them, it's you. Obviously there's a pattern going on. If you've had 4 roommates move out on you and want to end their lease early with you because they can't stand you, like, that's like major red flags that like maybe something's wrong with you and something that you can work on. But I also know that after I moved out, I think a few months later, like, she got engaged. I don't know, I'm laughing because I think they were dating for like a few months and they just got engaged, so that was interesting. But that's another red flag of like poor relationships and stuff. I don't know. This girl was just like a bunch of red flags, and I should have just not signed that lease and spent more time before I moved. But it did make me grow up a lot. It made me have to learn how to make money. It made me learn how to handle conflict really well. And it just made me practice patience. So I did learn a lot from that relationship. And I also learned that you shouldn't trust everyone, which is okay. I think I gave my trust to her too early, and I should have made her earn that. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you have a crazy roommate story, share it down below. I would love to hear it. If you liked this video, make sure you give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications to see more videos from me. And this is just a crazy story that I had to share with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later.